There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the sun. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to uproot, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to tear down, and a time to build, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones, and a time to gather them, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search, and a time to give up, a time to keep, and a time to throw away, a time to tear, and a time to mend, a time to be silent, and a time to speak, a time to love, a time to hate, a time to war, a time to war, a time to war, and a time for peace. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Friendship Pearson, and welcome to Friendship Blue. September 7th, 2025, Sunday, 10:35 p.m. Pray you guys had a beautiful day. Let's say it together. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. That is the book of Ecclesiastes, 3rd chapter, a time. Well, people, there is a time coming in Chicago. It appears very soon. And I pray that a lot of people don't walk into the trap. What trap, you might ask? Trump is a great strategist, getting people to take the bait. In the street, we call it selling wolf tickets, so they can get you to come out of your hole. And psychologically, you can come out of your bag and say how you really feel. And it appears that has happened. I'm not surprised. You see, on social media here in Chicago, whether these are paid actors, actresses, or these are real gangbangers talking smack, they are making their peace, their words, that Trump shouldn't come here with the National Guard, nor the Army, because, quote unquote, homie don't play that. People, because of my 19 years doing in the security field, working with law enforcement as well, I can tell you the best strategy is not with a weapon. It's the art of war. And as much as our mayor and our governors say they will not help Trump, they're going to have to help him if things go crazy. Even the police, they're going to have to. You see, it's federal. It just has to be declared. When you put a declaration in relation to the law, it's a wrap. I want to get into this video. I want to show you a psychological move that's being played. And some are going to lose very big time if they continue. I would say this, I'm going to be limited on what I say because I know a lot from my experiences. So let me say this. Trump already knows Chicago. He already know the hood. He know all the hoods. They already know what's been going on. Good cop and bad cop been played in Chicago for probably 40 years. They allowed y'all to gangbang in the first place. They allowed y'all to sell drugs in the first place. They allowed y'all to unalive each other in the first place. They allowed y'all to get the guns, sell the drugs, pimp out your women, and act a fool in the first place. Because they got a plan bigger than what you can see. And so now the people here in Chicago, these young people, they want to pop off and say, hey, you're going to regret coming here if you come in our hood. People, the armed forces have weapons beyond a weapon. They have a technological base. They have things in relation to technology. They don't even need a weapon to neutralize you. That's all I'm going to say right now. Check it out.
Mr. President, how was your poll? How was your job?
When you say that, Joe, that's fake news.
Well, why
I
is
don't
the
go to
Department
war.
of Defense?
Listen, be quiet. Listen. You don't listen. You never listen. That's why you're second rate. We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities. We're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend. That's not war. That's common sense.
Mr. President, how is your
Are you
poll?
ready?
Are you ready to move to the second phase? Are you ready to move to the second phase of sanctions against Russia or punishing Putin? How is your poll, Mr. President? What do you think of all the establishment attacks on RFK Jr.?
Well, he's a different kind of a guy. He's got a lot of good ideas, but he's got a lot of ideas. You know, normally they don't have any ideas, and that's why we have problems with autism and so many other things, because we're coming up with the answers for autism. You watch. We're coming up with the answers for other things that normal people, regular people, easy to get along with people wouldn't be able to do. He's got a lot of ideas, and so do I, and we're going to clean it up. Why? Let me ask you. Yeah. Really higher than Chicago? You're not? Excuse me. You know how many people were killed in Chicago last weekend? 8. You know how many people were killed in Chicago the week before? 7. You know how many people were wounded? 74 people were wounded. You think there's worse than that? I don't think so.
He set the tone and tenor. When I saw that earlier, I was like, wow. It reminded me when he was dealing with the Israeli and Palestinian. He's acting like daddy. Remember this here?
They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like 2 kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes, then it's easier to stop them.
And then daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while you have to use a certain word. They're not going to be fighting each other.
People, it takes wisdom to see certain things. Satan has a deceptive way of keeping you blind in the midst of what's to come. Let me break it down to you like this. Arguably, when you combine all of our big cities, arguably about 40% of the households have no man, or they don't have 2 parents. So the guidance aspect, the managing aspect, the growth, the development, the stages, that has been missed, especially amongst my people. When you break down a family unit, a nucleus, when you fight against the male in a society constantly, when his woman is psychologically utilized to come up against him. When he has babies and or multiple babies by a variety of women, you get a society which has the aspect of being vulnerable. And so now you rise up, you look like a man, you walk like a man, you're the age of a man, but you missed the steps and the building blocks to become a man. So when you see daddy coming to your city, like Chicago, you think you can take him. But what you fail to understand is that the lessons that you did not learn will show up as an error as you experience daddy. Now I'm going to break that down a little bit more deeper as I go. But daddy's coming. You're no match for daddy. It's a psychological war before it's a physical war. He said he's not coming to Chicago to war against Chicago. That's golden. He said a word. He's not coming for that. But if you bring that to him, that's the wisdom you don't see. Because you thinking that, I've neutralized him psychologically. No, he never said he wouldn't fight back. He just said he's not coming for that. Thinking that his presence alone will get you to act right. But because you have missed out on the steps to interpret a warning for what it is, you think you're going to still be able to clown while the National Guard is here. No, they have a plan in place. A, B, C, and D, and down the road. They already know where you live. I've shared with you guys, I worked in the 911. I worked in the 911 center on the west side of Chicago. They got monitors bigger than my body. They have enough footage and history in these neighborhoods. They know the people. They have informants. They're already ready for this. And many popped off the last 2-3 days talking smack about what they can do if the National Guard come into the black community. You have no idea what you're up against.
We also have right here, this is over in D.C., one of the live protests going on today, and this is actually about the National Guard stationed in the nation's capital, not expected to leave anytime soon. The deployment of the troops has been extended, we're told, through at least the end of November, so they will be there for several months. President Trump saying that he's going to send the National Guard troops elsewhere as part of this crackdown on crime. He named Chicago and New York City as locations where he cracked down on crime. He named Chicago and New York City as locations where he would send the...
It's already approved, evidently, by Congress for the National Guard to stay in D.C. through November. I have been saying in my YouTube videos, I talked to a friend of mine yesterday for a couple hours, and I told him, that's the key. Look for that. I told him if they get approval to stay longer in D.C. than the first 30 days initially, it's a wrap. Because now they're going to do this in other cities. And when you see the violence continuing in these big cities and the smack that's being talked on social media, you done fell into the trap.
I love the smell of deportation in the morning. That's what Trump said. Why he said that, I have no idea. But that's what he said today. He loves the smell of deportation in the mornings.
And that should be the main objective of black people. Anybody who's illegal in our neighborhood needs to leave, so the resources can come back to the black community. I'm just keeping it real. We were already scrapping for resources. And now our mayor, Houdini, Mr. Houdini, gets money out of thin air and can take care of the illegals. But I've said it till I'm blue in the face, and I'm a black man, so you know I'm going blue. That's a problem. Anytime you got to neglect those who've been here and take care of those who come in here illegally, and those who've been doing illegal stuff on top of that, food, shelter, medical, and now they got cars. Come on, man. Instead of you utilizing your better judgment and work with the mayor or somebody, your alderman or somebody, or alderwoman, so this money can be steered in our community, you ready to gangbang against Trump. Make that make sense?
Around at the Federal Plaza, where you can see workers setting up this barricade here ahead of these demonstrations that are expected in front of the Federal Plaza here in Chicago. Guys, I'm gonna keep you updated as this unfolds.
Well, I guess the forecast in Chicago calls for some.
Now watch this. Yeah, they got all those salt trucks as barriers. But I want you to see the smack that's been talking. Watch this here.
Trump, do not send the National Guard to Chicago, man. Do not, I repeat, do not do it. We are a different breed out here, nigga. We are not Los Angeles. Nigga, we are not Washington, D.C. This is Chicago. Go fight back. I'm telling you, go fight back, gang. Whatever, I don't give a f what you talking about. Them young switches, gang. They not going for that, bro. I know a bunch of y'all finna say, oh, it's the National Guard. They can't do anything about it. They must go in Chicago. Y'all know that it's more bad people than good people, bro. There are over 100,000 gangs in Chicago by the city.
It doesn't matter. They already know the cities. And they already let these big cities get to. See, what young people don't understand is they don't know how to interpret what control looks like. He's thinking because there's more bad in his mind. And he might be right. I don't have the numbers. He's saying it's more bad than good when it comes to, I guess, young people. But what he fails to realize is that the powers already know the numbers. They already know the numbers. And they're the one that let it get to this point. And see, like I said about a month ago, they already built Alcatraz, right? They got Alcatraz going on. So they got one in Miami. I guess they're going to reopen it soon, whatever. And trust me, people, I don't care what these governors and mayors say. It will be reopened in a times of crisis. The one in Miami, I forgot the name of it. That's going to be reopened. The one in New York will be, the one in San Francisco, it's going to be reopened. It's going to be open. They are, see, I can see it because I'm older. They already showed these places, these prisons, which are 60, 70, 80 years old. They already showed you. But folks is thinking, gas for the illegals. I'm telling y'all, it's for us too. And Jesse Jackson and all them others, they ain't gonna be able to help you do nothing. Al Sharpton ain't gonna be able to help you do nothing. You're not gonna have no representation. Because you were forewarned. And you went on social media, showed your face, and if you said it the wrong way, it's going to be interpreted as a threat. You don't understand the art of war.
Trump, do not send the National Guard to Chicago, man. Do not, I repeat, do it. We are a different fucking breed out here, nigga. We are not Los Angeles. Nigga, we are not.
Let me stop you there, bud. Now, if you think some Chicago gang members can take on the U.S. military, this only shows how delusional you really... Oh, they got switches and chops, and they slide on their ops. What do you think the U.S. military does? In the words of Shane Gillis, didn't they literally send like a fucking Paw Patrol in to get Osama bin Laden? And wasn't he like crying man tear?
That's how it go.
Young brothers in Chicago, come to the front to put these young brothers in their place, to tell them, hey, stop, man. Stop. You don't have to go out here and be gang. You don't have to do what Twin them doing. You know, you can be yourself, bro. There's nothing wrong with being yourself. There's nothing wrong with being successful. There's nothing wrong with being good. There's nothing wrong with it, man. Culture is so demonic today, to where you got studs trying to be just like the young guys. Like, come on, bro. Like, find Jesus Christ. Get some of that scripture in your heart. Because you playing the devil's game, you're gonna lose. There's no winners with the devil whatsoever. You know? But I'm just saying this because I've been seeing these videos of all these young guys in Chicago trying to warn Trump not to come, like they gonna stop him or something. Y'all out your mind. Don't let that.
Y'all out your mind. Here's a stat I've been saying for years. How many black gun shops are in the Midwest? There isn't any readily available count of all black-owned gun shops in the Midwest. However, one notable example is Stattermore Sports, a black-owned gun range in Bridgeview, Illinois, which aims to create an exclusive community for shooting enthusiasts. So one. Only one. And let me give you a secret. When in a state of emergency, he will be neutralized, slashed under federal order. He ain't doing no selling. If I got brains enough to Google who got ammo for black people, possibly, you think they don't? Come on, man. How many black gun-owned shops in America? There are fewer than a dozen black-owned gun shops in America out of the nation of at least 6,000 gun shops in the conversation. In other words, you can't even reload. We can't even reload, baby. We can't even reload. They can starve you out or they can just wait you out. Come on, man.
A wave of extreme heat that comes from nowhere. It's one of the U.S. military's newest non-lethal weapons, an electromagnetic beam that emits an odorless, invisible, and silent blast of heat.
It felt like opening up an oven door, almost mixed with a sting from about my sternum to my neck. So like...
Florida in droves, because this is the free state of Florida. They're moving here because they know their families will be safe here, their businesses will be safe. They won't have to contend with what we're seeing in places like Los Angeles and New York and Chicago, those things that are happening right now as we stand here today speaking. as elegant in how I say things. So I'm gonna first say that peaceful protests are part of our democracy. We invite people to share their opinions. That's what our country is all about. The key word in that is peaceful. And if it's peaceful, us in law enforcement are going to make sure you have a safe environment to do it in. That's part of that process. If you let it turn violent, you do not want to do that in Brevard County. I'm going to tell you that, and I believe I can speak for my fellow sheriffs around the rest of the state. You don't want to let it happen. And just so there's no confusion, because I don't want to hear any whining later saying we didn't know, I'm going to break it down for you, all right? Because as you watch these riots unfold across the rest of the country, what you are seeing is buildings being burned down, police cars being bricked, having explosive devices thrown on them, having fire, guns pointed at them, bricks thrown at them, all in all. So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tight, because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here.
There's forewarning in America. These people that you and I call government, they are masters. They are masters at social engineering. They allowed things to happen with Antifa, Black Lives Matter. Now there's a new sheriff in town, and people have gotten laxed thinking it's going to be the same. It's not. Do not fall into the trap. They have these old prisons reset and other things, which I'm sure they're not telling us about. You'd be a fool. Life dealt you a bad hand because you didn't have a father, or didn't have enough parents, or didn't have a beautiful community. But now you ain't got no excuse. No excuse now, whatsoever.